project that I'm doing tonight is this. It actually turned out quite interesting. I don't know if Cynthia, if you have a closer up picture of it, but it's hard in this light.
Use the craft cam.
Cliff says use the craft cam, so we'll go to craft cam and show you. So this is the project tonight, and it's an eco project because we upcycled some straws, some oatmeal containers, and then just kind of scraps from around the craft room. And what I ended up doing is it was supposed to be a photo frame, but I ended up creating it without thinking of the photo that I was going to put into it. And so what I ended up doing was doing this little 4x6 kind of, you know, inspiration type of paper that I just stamped and went crazy on. And then I just was like, okay, well, when I want to, you know, switch it out, I'll just switch it out just like that. And that's kind of what the project's all about, is being able to switch out this kind of nice little inspiration, I guess you can call it inspiration / reflection board / photo holder, because you can see I'm going to actually be making one for one of my wedding pictures tonight, because I actually don't really do much with my wedding pictures. And I think it's high time to put it into something that has a little bit more meaning than just a frame. You know me, I like to just kind of stack things on top of each other, and I like to upcycle. So if you have some leftover cereal boxes, some white glue, it can be Mod Podge or any other type of, you know, glue like that, then you can do that. And then just grab embellishments from all around, some coordinating paper, and we can get rocking on over to Craft Cam to get started. Yep, Cliff is in the room tonight. And unfortunately, he's not in this picture, but this photo was taken many, many years ago of a couple of my bridesmaids and I always loved this picture because I look tan, don't I? So, maybe, no, these are very good friends of mine. And we all have blue eyes, isn't that great? So I wanted to actually make a nice little frame for this, and I chose this paper here to coordinate because these were kind of the colors of my wedding. I know it's kind of like wild and tropical, but these are some of my favorite colors. And so I chose this. This paper didn't have a brand on it when I got it, and I probably got it about 5 years ago, around the same time I did my wedding. So it doesn't have a brand, but I got it at Target. So if that helps you, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And what I did was I took an old oatmeal box. We eat gluten-free, so this is a gluten-free oatmeal, and I literally just cut out the main rectangle here and then cut my paper to the same size. And then I'm going to Mod Podge the back, actually the face side of my box, and then I'm going to lay down my paper, and that's the very first step of this whole project. All right. So Mod Podge, I'm going messy. I'm just going to go right out of my Mod Podge container, which I shouldn't do because I really don't have a lot left. Hint, hint, if anybody from Plaid is watching. So you can just go in there with a sponge brush and just go nuts. Now, like I was saying, you can decorate this with pretty much all kinds of scraps that you have laying around. For my finished project, I had some lace laying around and of course some buttons, but just get really creative with it and start coordinating. And the neat thing is you can really lay this out before you start doing any permanent damage, I guess you could say. You can really just lay it out and make it happen. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put down my crazy awesome flowery paper and lay that on there, and then just kind of give it a nice little flattening there. Normally you should wait for this to dry just a little bit before you really start working on it, but I'm impatient, so I'm just going to continue, and hey, this is a demo. Now my next thing that I want to do is take my straws. I bought this huge 500 straw pack from like Smart & Final or something for, I don't know, like $3, something like that. Because I thought, wow, straw crafts, that's going to be a real challenge for me, and it has been. How in the heck do I use 500 straws? If any of you have seen my straw pendant thing, that's where the whole straw thing started. So what I did was I took 2 straws out of their little packages because they were pre-packaged. And yes, I hoard straws. And I took some alcohol ink. Now you can decorate these any which way you want to, but easiest thing to do for non-porous surfaces is to take some alcohol ink. I'm going to use some green Adirondack, the lettuce color. This is the Tim Holtz. We all know I love me some Tim Holtz. And I'm just going to apply it really quickly to my little sponge, which is not clean. And I don't care, because it's just going to come out the way that it's going to come out. I'm going to hold just the edges and tap along it. You can go all the way around if you really want to, and you can see that I have some red in there, which is actually kind of cool because there's some red in my project. So it's going to kind of set it off really nicely. Like I said, you can paint this. Sure, go ahead and paint it. Do whatever you want with it. But I'm just going to use some alcohol ink because you know how I am with my alcohol ink. And I'm just going to dab, 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 dab. Give it a nice vibrant color. And then before I, do anything nuts, like permanently adhering this to it, I'm just going to see what it looks like. Oh, that's looking pretty cute. I like the colors. Kind of an orangey reddish color. It goes really nicely with my entire layout. So I'm happy with that. Woohoo! Happiness. If you have your photo handy, cool. Use your photo to gauge where you're going to adhere your straws. If you don't, then just cut out a 4x6 piece of cardstock, and then that's the cardstock you can use for a little reflections piece or an inspiration piece. And then what you're going to do is just kind of gauge here. Oh, look, I think I want to put them right about there. So I'm kind of putting them, resting it on top of my photo. And this is so that I can make the marks for the gluing, because I'm not going to glue these permanently on because I want to be able to switch out. I want to be able to switch out my photos, because I know I'm going to get sick of this photo after a while. No offense, bridesmaids, but I do like to switch it up. And I'm just going to give it a mark right along the side of the straw, right where I'm going to glue it. So you can just see I'm doing about a 1/2 inch on either side. This doesn't have to be perfect, people. It just has to be unique and special and handmade, and that's what's great about these types of crafts, is you can really go very, very unique and handmade and special for you or your loved ones. Okay, so now I have my marks. On your marks. Get set. Warm glue. All right, so I have my glue gun set on a warm temperature, not hot, just because we know how I am with the hot glue. And I'm giving my my little stripes that I just drew on there a decent little stripe of glue. I'm just going to set on my first straw. Yay, my first straw is on! Now, if I did this correctly, once it's dry, my photo should slip through there. Look at that! Whoa, I did it! I did it, Mom! I did it! And now I'm going to go just on the top part. Now, you don't want to give it too much glue. You want to know why? Because if you squish down your straw, then it's going to spill over into your photo zone and you won't be able to move it around so much. So this looks kind of crazy because it's all wacky off the sides here. And sure, you can use that as a stylistic element, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is cut it off. Of course, you can pre-cut it beforehand if you really want to, but come on. So much more fun when it's just permanently on there and you can just take a risk. Take a risk, people. Now this is the simple part of it, right? You can do this. This is actually the very first concept that I was like, oh, it would just look good like that. And then I just started adding things to it. I actually think that this particular one with the background in it, it could easily stay just like this, and it would be a very fun and simple project, right? And then you go like this, just like that. Very fun, isn't it? Okay, so now we need to decorate this sucker, okay? Let's decorate it. I have, of course, lots of buttons because of the button episode and my lack of buttons. And lucky for me, I didn't just get buttons from button companies, but I got buttons from my good friend Cynthia. And I find myself using these buttons probably more than any of my other buttons because it's just so nice. Such a great variety that she sent. And also Maria sent me some buttons as well. And I always find myself nostalgically looking at those, and I'm just so happy to have received them. So every time I use them, I'm always like, oh, this is from Cynthia. Now, you have a lot of options here, but the main thing is don't crowd up both sides where you're going to insert your photo and take your photo out. You're going to want to make sure that you also leave, you know, some room to get around on the top and the bottom. But for the most part, you know, you can go totally nuts. I like to put things on top of the straws themselves. Maybe something on one side so that it, you know, the photo will stop there as well, but you can still get it in on the other side. So let's just kind of get nutty with our embellishments. I'm just going to put my very first embellishment on, which is this nice little shell. Ooh, that's cute. Yes, loving you, little shell. And I like this pink color because this pink actually kind of was the pink that was in our flowers and also on our tables at our wedding. So that, I really like that guy. And I'm just going to try and keep this one a little bit more simple than my other one. I'll show you in detail my other one. Just because I'm really kind of feeling that it doesn't need a whole bunch of embellishment. It does have a photo in it, which means the photo kind of does take up the whole centerpiece, and you don't want to overcrowd that too much. So right there on the side, and then I might just put a little Brad up here, or a little heart. I like the little heart just because that color of that little button heart is also yet another crazy color that I had in my wedding. People ask me what the colors were in my wedding. I'm like, pick a color, because it was like every color of the rainbow. And you know, people are asking me what my colors are going to be, and I'm like, you know, you can't really choose a color if you're a person like me, because I like every color pretty much. Poor me. Poor Andrea. She loves every color of the rainbow. And just like so. Okay, so like I said, you can embellish like nuts, and this can still move around. Sorry if you're seeing the top of my grungy head here. All right. Now let me show you this guy. Voila. This one has some fun embellishments. I kind of went a little nutty on this. This is my very first one. And I have some brads here. The way that I did the brads was I took my pinhole punch from Fiskars. I believe this is or wait, maybe not. I took my pinhole punch, whatever brand it is, and I just put my little brads in there. I did some lace along the side. You can see it here, a lace along the side, baby. And just lots of buttons. You know, a lot of these buttons came from the Maria and the Cynthia stash, so that's why they're so wonderful, Maria and Cynthia. Now, one thing I didn't show you, because I actually wanted to make this one a wall hanger instead of a stand-up one, is on the back here, you can see that this one is just a standing frame, which is really nice to have. But what I didn't show you is that when you want to make a standing frame, all you have to do is, before you adhere your pattern paper to your cardboard, just cut halfway up in whatever direction you want it to stand, and then it just serves as a natural little leg there, and then you adhere your nice pattern paper on, and then that's how that works. So it's really easy. And then what I'm just going to do with this one is take a hole punch and probably punch a couple holes here, run some ribbon through it, and then hang it on my wall. So it's just a really nice, different eco-chic approach to framing your favorite pictures and or your little reflection boards. So it's a lot of fun. All right, do you like it? I hope you like it. It's my first time back. All right, thanks. Visit AndreaCurryCrafts.com for more information. All right, off to you.